What's going on, guys? Welcome to the pre-match build-up for Manchester United versus Brentford. 3 o'clock kickoff, and we've got a little bit of early team news and a lot of stuff to break down. So let's just dive straight into this bitch, and I shall switch screens right now so you can see the lineup. There we've got Onana in net, Diego Dalot right back, De Ligt and Johnny Evans, I think, at centre back, and then Lisandro at left back, Casemiro, Eriksen, and Bruno Fernandes as the makeup in the midfield, and then we've got Garnacho, Rasmus Højlund, and Marcus Rashford as your front three. On the subs bench, we've got Bayern Deer, Lindelof, Majraoui, Jack Fletcher, Ugarte, Ahmad, Anthony Wheatley, and Joshua Zirkzee. Obvious thing to discuss straight off the bat is Mberno versus Leacher, or Mberno versus Johnny Evans. Shreyas, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean,
Mbuemo, sorry. What?
Mbuemo.
Mbuemo.
Mbuemo. Yeah, exactly.
Mbuemo. Mbuemo. I don't know, it doesn't sound right. Well, anyway, talk to me about Mbuemo, please.
I mean, yeah, it's going. I mean, we saw it coming that it's either going to be Lisandro or Evans or Lindelof who will be playing off as a fullback in this one, and it's going to be very tough because he's been in a very, very good, good vein of form. Villa against Villa as well. When we were playing it, we looked compact, but it did look like that when it came from the left hand flank and the right hand flank, we did look vulnerable in a lot of those areas. And now that you've got someone like Lisandro or Evans actually slotting into that position, it makes it a bit more advantageous for Brentford. And considering how they've been playing, considering the fact that they've been scoring within the first 3 minutes of every single game that they've been playing, and on a very consistent basis as well, it's going to be very tough to stop them. And considering how they play, they'll be looking to attack us from that wing positions a lot in this game.
Sorry, I know this is a side note, but I've just got the Tottenham game on in the background, and they've almost scored as many goals in this game as we have all season. There's 4-1 they're beating West Ham at the moment, which is, yeah. But anyway, sorry. Defensively, Civir, we seem to, according to statistics, Onana's got the most clean sheets in the league, but we have got De Ligt and Johnny Evans playing for the first time together. I don't think they have played before. Is that a concern as well? You talk about partnerships and chemistry.
As far as partnerships and chemistry, yes, obviously that's a big concern because defensive lines need that cohesion. They need that understanding each other. They need the chemistry going. I think last season, remember you and I talked about this. We had like 40 something combinations. I think last season.
Yeah.
So it's never a good, it's never a good thing when they keep chopping and changing. But we've got injuries. It just is what it is. But yeah, that is kind of excuse me. That's kind of concerning for me. I think I would imagine that when we're on the ball, we're going to do that thing where it's 3 at the back and then one of them drops into midfield, which is probably going to be Lisandro. I would imagine that, but then even at that, Brentford know how to stretch teams. They know how to go wide,
and switch play quickly as well.
Yeah, they know how to do that thing so well, and it probably doesn't fill anyone with any confidence. Individually, I think, to be fair, John Evans has been decent. I mean, I think it's fair to say that he has preceded our expectations. What's the word? He's passed our expectations. Like he's exceeded
our expectations.
Sorry, it was a long night yesterday. So he's exceeded our expectations. So individually, yes, he's done well. But then, with football and the way it's all about styles and systems and how people, how we set up, it doesn't fill me with any confidence, to be fair.
All right, that's the motivation that we want. The game against Villa, Shreyas, we was very pragmatic, weren't we? It was very a case of keeping it tight, save your job kind of performance. Are you expecting a completely different one against Brentford today? Do you expect us to be a bit more attacking on the front foot?
I don't know what he's going to go with. If he tries to go on the front foot and he's got Evans playing as a fullback and he tries to stretch out the play with Evans making an overlapping run on that left-hand side with Rashford, it's going to cause us a lot of issues if we lose out on the ball, which we definitely will in their half. And when it comes to Brentford, they're very good when it comes to making transitions and hitting teams on the counter attack, and they've got the perfect players. When you look at the players that they've got the perfect setup to counter us today. When it comes to counters, when it comes to winning the ball in our half, And when it comes to, like Jimmy mentioned as well, like stretching out the play, exploiting those spaces that get left in behind, which we actually do a lot. There's a big space in between our midfield line and our back line. I think they will be looking to exploit that a lot in this game.
Yeah, if we're looking at things, so I've watched Brentford quite closely. Civir, they're not great at defending the back post. Defensive line can be too high at times, and they do have an error in them. They can slip up, and they've made a few this season. If we'd take anything, any kind of confidence, I know you said you're not feeling, fully motivated going into this, but there is certain bits where you can get at them, but they're also super organised as well under Thomas Frank, aren't they?
Absolutely. But I would hope, and as terrible as this sounds, I would hope we just sit back. Just sit back and just try and be compact, and then just try and exploit the spaces in behind and try and exploit them. Like, I know we're supposed to be Man United and we're supposed to be like attacking and all that kind of stuff, but then right now we need to understand what we are as a team. Like, we need to understand. Yeah, no, it's true. We have to be real. We have to hold up the mirror in front of ourselves and be like, listen, man.
Be honest.
We can't go with these guys. Yeah, be honest. We can't go toe to toe. We need a result. Defend, play for the point, and then try and catch them on the counter. I'm shocked that I'm actually saying this. And it's crazy because this same fixture, this Brentford Man United fixture, this is where, remember last season when I was gone, when I was just like,
yeah,
it was this same fixture. This was the one. I think it was 1-1. Was it 1-0? This is the one that just had me done, and I really want revenge, but I'm sure I'm not going to get it. I think it might be, just same as last time, to be honest. But to your point, I think, yes, you have to be optimistic. You have to have there has to be positive somewhere. And I think that we actually have players, especially if they're playing a high line. We've got pace up front. Did you say Rashford, Garnacho, and Højlund?
Højlund. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you need for counter. Yeah, that's what I mean. If one of them can pick their head up and try and find the other one, yes, obviously.
Is
we know
that
those guys.
acceptable though on at Old Trafford against Brentford, counter attacking? Like,
if you want to win,
yeah. I suppose.
I don't know. Do you want to win or do you want to?
I do, but I'm just like, even with the quality that you got on the pitch, like, I don't know. I just think you should be.
It doesn't make any. Listen, quality means nothing if you can't get your boys in. If you can't really set. It's like going to war, right? It's like two warring armies. Like, you can have all the trained soldiers or whatever. If your approach to this war is this is what I'm sorry, this is not political, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
When America had all the tech and everything, and they went to Vietnam, they lost the war because the Vietnamese soldiers were strategically placed in the jungle to take them out. So if you're not set up properly, it doesn't matter what equipment you have, it doesn't matter how good you are at what you do. If you're not set up properly, you're setting up to lose. And I think, it doesn't matter how much money how much firepower. I mean, our bench, I'm not even going to talk about the starting lineup. Our bench probably can buy that first Brentford team, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely can. I think Brentford's biggest buy is Damsgaard. It was like 14 million quid or something. So, yeah, that tells you everything that you need to know. Did not have Vietnamese war analogies on my bingo card, but I'll take it. Yeah, does any of them hit bingo tonight? Shreyas, Højlund, Garnacho, Rashford, any of them strike goal, do you think? Because we need goals, don't we? Fucking desperately.
We do need goals. I just don't see how we are going to come up with them, if I'm being genuinely honest. Because it just looks like, when we are going into these games, there's just no sense of direction when we are progressing with the ball forward. And when you need to make those, split-second decisions, we hesitate a lot. We are not able to, capitalize on the opportunities that we get when the other team actually makes mistakes. Even when we win the ball in the opposition half, we are not able to make the most of those opportunities, which end up costing us a lot, because we've seen it on a lot of occasions. An early goal can change the entire complexion of a game. The kind of chances that we've missed, if I would say even half of the chances we would have taken, and we would have been like 1-0 up ahead against Palace within the first 30 minutes, or we would have been, the game would have been in a much different direction. You would have seen Palace aggress a lot. You would have seen them moving forward a lot. And then when the spaces get left behind, you're able to, exploit the other team way, way, way more. than when you're in a cagey 0-0 game where you're getting chances, you're not able to, convert those chances. And then it can be a smash and grab where the team gets one last opportunity at the dying moments, they end up getting the win. So I just don't know how we are going to actually be attacking at Brentford. I just really don't know how we are going to be coming up with it, because if Ten Hag actually looks at this game and once again we see Casemiro or Eriksen just as the lone six, and you see Bruno and the other midfielder actually just pressing up ahead, they're going to get absolutely killed by Brentford.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of people feel like that in the chat. It's very negative. Sorry, lads, we're getting pumped today. That's from UTFR. Paul Warburton saying 3 wins in 10 games. How is this team going to change the new unpredictable outcome? Sam saying, right, I'm ready to be hurt again. He needs to stop with the Themis Bollocks inverted fullback crap. Get Terzic on standby. That's from UTFR. I will defend the manager as much as possible, but fuck me. When you pick games, Rashi, Hoyland, and Garnacho, Rashi, and Hoyland, 3 players who don't pass to each other, makes it hard to back him. If he plays Evans at left back, he deserves the boot. You can't play on the counter-attack at Old Trafford against Brentford. I don't care. Leach played left back, but I know let's play Evans there and play Leach centre back. This man hasn't got a clue. And then Prabhav saying, do we think Brentford is going to score in the first few minutes again? Yeah, I'll throw out a question to you, Trevor. I was going to ask it a little bit later, but they have been scoring within the first minute. Can you see this happening at Old Trafford?
Possibly. I mean, how many goals have we? I know Onana has got, like you said, he's got the one of the highest numbers. Yeah, but we're conceding goals regardless. Like,
yeah,
we're conceding. So I don't know. It's possible. I won't write that out. Especially with the defense we've set out. Now,
Yeah.
if we had like if we had like a really bad, like we do right now, we don't have a natural left back. Now the logical thing would be whoever's playing on the left attacking would come and help out. Like, if it's Rashford, if it's Garnacho, they would double up. I don't see Rashford doing that. He might try to do it, but he's not effective in doing that. Like, there's no way.
The
like,
intensity isn't there.
Yeah, we've seen Ahmad come back. Even Anthony used to come back and help in right back, and they were effective whenever they did that. With Rashford, I'm not sure that's going to happen. So yes, Thomas Frank might actually be able to sniff out an opportunity there. I'm actually, and why not go for it? Like, if we're playing the way we play, if I'm the opposition manager, of course, go for it and get that initial. Because one thing we've been terrible at doing is coming back recently. Like, we've found it really hard to come back. So get that early goal, like how Tottenham did, and then just let them follow. The crowd will eat them up for Brentford. Yeah, they just need to do that, and then that's it. And then the crowd starts getting on the back of the players, and then that's it. So it's possible. I wouldn't write that out at all.
Yeah.
And can I just say one more thing? I can see an injury happening if one of Evans or Leacher is playing that left back position. They're not going to end that game. Like, they're going off injured at some point.
Don't say that.
100%. That's what's going to happen.
You're probably right.
Too.
Yeah, Majari is on the bench, so we've got him as an option. But again, he's just come
That's what I'm saying. He's
a delicate procedure.
If he was fit, he would be playing. But he's not fit and he's on the bench. And if he comes on, we risk that as well.
Yeah.
So definitely one of whoever is going to be in that left back position. I'm telling you right now, they're not in that game.
Well, I know there's been a couple that's been playing with knocks. Like, Evans had a bit of a knock. I think Diego Dalot a few weeks ago was playing through games with a knock. De Litz, you've had all the talk about the proper pre-season and getting used to the team. That back line, I don't think they've ever played together as a unit before. Dallow's been playing left back for God knows how long, and he's back onto the right-hand side. There's just a lot of things. If I was Thomas Frank and I'm looking at that back line now, I'm like, we can get out of that, lads. Visser and Mbuemo?
Can you say Mbappe?
What?
Mbappe, Kylian Mbappe. Can you say Mbappe?
Mbappe?
Yeah. There you go. Mbuemo.
We're not playing Mbappe, though.
No, Mbappe, Mbuemo. It's the same. Yeah.
But the way you were saying it before was like, Mbuemo. So now I've got that in my head now.
No, I was trying to make it slow because you were saying M. like you're pronouncing the letter
Embuemo.
M. But
Embuemo.
yeah, it's not M, it's like Mbappe.
Embuemo. Oh wow, this is
Yeah.
okay. Anyway, that player I think is going to cause a bit of havoc. I can definitely see that. But with the makeup of the midfield, Shreyas, talk to me about that because it'd help if Bruno Fernandes steps up today, wouldn't it?
It would, and
But
I think
it's the same answer.
Yeah.
It would, but
yeah, but once again,
Wait, can I just say this? As soon as she said Australia went like that, it was like, well,
here we go again. Oh shit, here we go again.
I mean, look, if it's a 0-0 game till the 60th minute mark, or we concede an early goal, I can see him being frustrated and just throwing his arms on the pitch the moment it happens.
Yeah.
And I can see it happening right now. Maybe a red card happens again. I just don't know what to expect from Bruno right now. And the thing is, we do need him to step up, but it's just like, every single department in this team seems like chaos at the moment. Like, genuinely every single department. I cannot look at the defense or the attack or even the midfield and go and say that, this is still a stable line and they can fend themselves off against Brentford. I just don't see it in any of these departments. And like we mentioned before as well, that the senior players in this team need to step up now. Bruno is one of them. Casemiro playing today is one of them as well. Rashford needs to step up as well. These guys are the leaders of this team. So if they are not going to be performing, it's going to make it much more difficult for players like Højlund, Garnacho, Delic just coming into the team as well, for them to actually be able to have a good atmosphere and make some performances and have a consistent run. So I hope Bruno has a decent outing, because once again, I know that once he hits that form, he's a very consistent player. When he builds on momentum, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, he goes on in that direction. He's just not having that game so far, and I don't know whether it has to do with the captaincy. I don't know what it has got to do with it, but I just don't see his quality actually coming through in this sort of a setup. The moment he switches to the national team, you can see a completely different side of Bruno Fernandes every single time, and it doesn't even matter where he's playing. He plays as a 6, he's the best player on the pitch. He plays as the 8, he's the best player on the pitch. As a 10, best player. Right wing, best player. As a right winger, he's been getting 2 to 3 assists per game in that Portugal side. So I don't know what it has to do with the United, but this system is not getting the best out of him.
Yeah, he's been. I mean, he's not the only one. I don't just want to kind of pin it on him, but he has been super underwhelming for me. I mean, I keep every pros and cons I do. He comes up in it, and I'm like, well, expectations
was this
there.
heat map as well.
Delivery was there.
Comparison heat map with his heat map in a Portugal shirt and his heat map in a United shirt, and you could see at United it's basically on the flanks,
right hand side.
He's mostly there. When it comes to Portugal, he's absolutely around the box every single time.
Yeah,
so it makes a whole lot of difference.
I always feel like, I don't know if you'll get this reference or this kind of thing here, but there was a game against Galatasaray where he actually played as a 10 and he scored a banger against him as well last season. And when he was there, he was connected with the strikers. But I feel like someone referenced it when he gets frustrated, like 30 minutes in or whatever. That's when he starts wandering off and going into different areas and trying to, like, I get it because you're trying to do bits for your team, you're trying to get thingy, but you need to be positionally disciplined. And he hasn't got that. And as a captain, that's one thing that should be like number one on your list, shouldn't it? As like a priority. It's a bit bizarre to me. But like I said, the rest of the team have been shocking as well. But you look at our run of games now, Civir. On paper, again, I have to always say that and preempt it because it is United. It is a pretty favourable run. So if you get a win against Brentford today, you might actually start climbing a bit and start getting a bit of confidence. Because confidence, as we know, can change football completely, can't it?
Yeah.
Well, on paper, our run up to now was pretty, apart from Liverpool.
No, Spurs, Liverpool, pretty tricky game. Villa as well, don't forget, pretty tricky.
Yeah, but then we had, who did we have? We had Palace.
Palace and Fulham were the games that like you should be winning. But Brighton's always been a bogey team for us. Spurs, Liverpool, Villa.
True.
It's a bit... Now I'm talking about you've got, I don't know, Everton, Leicester, fucking POAK. Teams near the bottom, I'm saying. So you should on paper. But we should just say that before any question with United. We should just fucking say that. I mean, I'm going to switch screens because we've been through the team. But yeah, talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, yes, that should be the case. But we know what United has been recently. Like now, I think we're playing at our level, unfortunately. And these are the teams I mean, apart from Southampton, we actually looked decent against Southampton after that penalty miss.
Yeah.
And the only time we've actually looked dominant was against Barnsley. So I don't know. On paper, yes. I mean, I don't know what I'm supposed to say if I'm not confident.
Yeah,
I'll be
I know.
honest.
I get it completely. 100%. 100%.
The best game of our season up until now has been against Barnsley.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Game.
I'm not confident, and I think what really drives it home, or what really makes me not confident, is with all the pressure that was on the team and the manager, when we really expected them to do it, and we got a softball FC20. Okay, here you go, FC20. At Old Trafford, just go and do the business. Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Who else was there? It
Porto.
was it was the game of games. Aston Villa, like, go and get. We didn't show up, so why do I expect them to show up now? Like, it's so deflating. Like, it really is. But I've already been deflated for so long. I'm just here for the ride now. It's just like, yeah, okay, this is what we are now. And I'll be honest with you, I really don't care that much about the league anymore. I really want the Europa League, because that's our only chance of Champions League next season and securing some funds for the team. Because if we miss out on Europe, which we are based on the league, we are not going to.
That's gone. Champions League's already gone.
It's gone.
7 games into the season,
Yeah,
we're already
it's gone.
That's gone. Honestly, so with the league, I'm just like, meh. Okay, as long as we don't get too far down the table, because we're actually showing relegation form now. Yeah.
That's where we're at.
So
as long as we don't get too far down the table.
we still don't even know whether we'll make it through the group stages of the Europa League either.
We've got the mighty POAK to deal with. Don't forget about that.
Yeah.
This is the reality of, like. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just being.
You spot on.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be as real as I can. The league is gone, and so with the league now, I'm just like, well, okay, if we score, yay, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm sure skip that.
If you don't laugh, you cry. So
I know. Yeah.
If you don't laugh,
So
you cry.
with the next few games, I don't know, man. I'm not confident. I'm hopeful that we win, that we get a result, but it doesn't seem like it at all.
On that, Shreyas, have they made a mistake not bringing Tuchel in? Do you think?
I think it was, if I remember it clearly, last season there was a game against Tottenham that we had, the second game at Old Trafford, where Bentancur, from the halftime interval, after that he took the ball and he just dribbled through every single player we had, midfield line, defensive line, and he just scored the goal, and the game was 2-2 for the rest of the game. At that moment was the first time where I actually felt this is completely not right. Doesn't matter how many injuries you've got, doesn't matter what team you're actually coming up against. No player can be allowed that sort of freedom to roam pretty much just walk through your entire midfield and defensive line and go for goal. And it's been happening on a regular basis. Even this season, it's happened on a regular basis as well. The mistakes that we made from last season, we are still doing it right now. Midfield cutbacks still being there. Positional awareness still not being there in the defensive line. We can still see it. Gap between the defensive and midfield line, it is still there. So we've not worked on these issues. They've come from last season and they've entered this season as well. So personally, I wanted them to sack Ten Hag in the international break, because I thought it would give. Doesn't matter if it's Tuchel or if they saw someone else as as an option to come in and do a job, but it would have given them a good space of time to actually understand what's going on at the club, what sort of players they're working with, and which direction and system do they want to progress with, moving into the season. And then perhaps this game would have been an ideal game for them, because Brentford is a tricky opposition. With the new manager coming in, if they get a convincing win against Brentford, the entire morale and the momentum of the team completely shifts. So it would have been a good appointment to do it in this international break, but they stuck with Ten Hag. For some reason they have. And as far as seen Ineos, with the kind of decisions they've made, with the kind of people that they've appointed at the club as well, all of them are very experienced. They know what they're doing. So I don't know what is their vision when it comes to Ten Hag, but whatever it is, I don't see it extending after Christmas. I think Christmas is the maximum timeline that they'll give Ten Hag to actually be able to make something out of this season. Because if he's not able to do it by Christmas, I think that's the max limit that Ten Hag has got.
The crazy thing is, when we did the big Premier League season prediction, Aaron made 2 predictions, and he said David Moyes will be back in charge of West Ham. And if you look at West Ham in a minute, I mean, Kudus has just been sent off and the 4-1 down at Spurs. I mean, it's utter shit show going on over there. And he also said Ruud van Nistelrooy interim manager by December. It literally looks like both things. It's crazy how it's gone. What was your thoughts on that? Because I don't think I've spoke to you yet on a show about it yet, Civir. On obviously Tuchel availability, I know England had agreed, I think early October, with him, but with the type of quality that he is, would you have pulled that trigger basically if you was Ineos?
Yeah, I definitely would have. But at the same time, do you remember you and I, Nick, when was the last season, just before Ten Hag came in, when it was Ragnick and Conte went to Spurs, and you and I were like, "Oh, we missed the boat." Remember, Nick?
Yeah.
You and I were like, "Oh, we missed the boat on Conte. Oh, we could have gone for him and everything." And that didn't really turn out to be anything anyway. Now, I'm not saying it's the same situation with Tuchel, but with what Ineos have, I'm actually quite happy with the way they're doing it, because I think that they're trying to go for a long-term manager.
Yeah.
I don't think Thomas Tuchel. I don't know. I don't think Thomas Tuchel is a long-term manager. He's very good, and he would have been. I would have loved to see him here, but I think they're the ones having conversations with him, and there probably is something there between Tuchel and United. There's some deal breaker that he can't accept, or they can't accept, or whatever it is. Because I don't think for 1 second that Ineos believe in Ten Hag. For 1 second, I don't think so. And I think that the really reason why he's here is because they haven't identified their long-term option.
Who could that be?
And I think that we never know.
Maybe they're looking for him.
Don't know.
Maybe they're looking for
I think they have a few candidates. I think they're trying to work on things, but I don't believe for 1 second that the reason why he's here is because they believe in him or they're sticking with him.
Exactly.
No, because they haven't found that one person that they're looking for. Now, it could be someone to come in from. I remember they were talking about Sebastian Hoeneß last season. I heard like rumors and stuff. Who's at Stuttgart? So it could be somebody who's like just coming out from nowhere. You know, the Spanish manager, how no one seemed to know who he was, just came out of nowhere. It's one of them ones. Yeah. Well, I personally didn't know about him before. I was quite surprised. I didn't seem to recognize him. Maybe he'd been a manager in some other teams.
Brighton's manager, as well as another example, St. Pauli, second German division, De Zerbe, Shakhtar Donetsk.
Exactly. So I think they're trying to identify a manager, and they're willing to. I'm just happy that they're not pulling the trigger and going quick, like just for, let's sack him, get this guy. I think they're taking a measured approach to this. Now, with Tuchel, obviously that was a kick in the teeth. Like, he would have been ideal, to be honest. He would have been ideal to kind of, come in, but he could have come in and then we would have been talking about a new manager in another 2 years. He might come in and kick a hornet's nest. Maybe they would have had a big fallout. We know what Tuchel is like. So I don't know. I think they're taking their time with this one. I think they really want to make sure that they get the right, because everything else has changed. Everything. The only thing that has carried on from last season is the manager.
Yeah, I do feel like there are similar comparisons with that Ollie bet. I'm glad you kind of mentioned that, because everyone's like, right, what do we need right now? We need the guy to come in, offer some discipline, put these players into shape and start making us defensively resolute. And I think a lot of people were looking at Conte as that kind of guy who can come in and do that. But then ultimately there's no longevity in it, because we see what happens after 2 or 3 years with Conte. It might be the similar case with Tuchel. The reason why I was kind of craving him as a manager is because you look at any of his metrics, everywhere he's been, his first initial impact is 100%. Unbelievable. Defensively 100%. In Europe, he's that guy. So I'm looking at United and everything we need, and I'm like, that's right. Maybe it is a quick fix. Maybe it's like, just put a gauze on the. Do you know what I mean? So maybe it's not the right option. I'm just kind of acting as a fan, like a little bit out of desperate.
Yeah.
Clutching at something. Because
absolutely.
It was Saturday.
Everybody wanted that. He would have been a perfect fit. I think he would have been a perfect fit. I would have loved to see him here, but I think there's something else that as fans we don't know, because we just see the surface of it. But they're the ones, they've had a conversation with him in the summer already.
Yeah.
And I remember Fabrizio used to say as well that Tuchel was open to the United job. I think there's just something in the discussions with him. It might be there's some issue there that has just not allowed this to happen. And I think Ineos has kind of just think, we're just trusting our own process. And I believe them. I think they'll get it right. I think they will.
Dan's in the chat saying, I think the manager's not convinced with Ahmad's stature. If he had the stature of Greenwood, Valencia, and Nani, then he would be starting week in, week out. I don't see any negative in Ahmad in his play style. It's an interesting one. Ahmad on the bench again. Yeah, I'll bring it back to that. But I just want to go through a couple of stats. So head-to-head, Manchester United are on a run of 5 straight top-flight home wins against Brentford with their last league defeat in 1937. Brentford have won just one of the past 10 league meetings, so drew 10, lost 7. 4 of the 5 goals scored in the 2 Premier League encounters last season came in the second half stoppage time. I think Mason Mount, McTominay obviously got 2. And then who scored for Brentford now in that one where Mount scored? Can't remember. In the last minute. Was it Tony? Because the game where they had like 30 shots on a goal?
It wasn't Tony.
I
don't remember.
I think it was Tony.
Yeah, but anyway, a lot of goals coming in the last minute, so hopefully there's none unless it's for us, and in which case I'll take it. But we don't have McTominay to bring on, so
it was Ayer.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. On Man United, we've won just one of our past 6 Premier League games. That is fucking horrendous. Drew 2, lost 3. We could lose 3 consecutive home league fixtures for the first time since 1979. And we could go 4 league matches without scoring for the first time since 1989. That's what we're looking at today, fellas.
We've gone 3 games without scoring.
Yeah.
Yo.
League matches I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, in the Premier League. 3 games and we haven't scored.
Nope. And United's tally of 8 points is their lowest after 7 games of a league season since 1989 as well. My God, what happened in 1989? Because all the stats are going back. It was a shit season. My God. I think that Fergie was in charge then as well. Didn't Fergie come in, was it 88, 89 when he came in? I think. So one of his first seasons, I think. But anyway. On Brentford, they've lost all 3 of their Premier League away games so far this season, so they're not great away from the G-Tech. They've lost 15 of their 22 Premier League away fixtures since the beginning of last season. And in Brentford's last 4 Premier League matches, they've opened the scoring after 22 seconds, 22 seconds, 36 seconds, and 77 seconds. They're the timestamps to keep an eye on. So quite literally, you got to be engaged from the very start here with this because, yeah, they've been on it against every team. In regards to the manager and how they set up, lads, obviously very, very organised. You know what you're going to get from them. Quick, direct football, great switches of play, really good off set pieces. They're almost a little bit of a kryptonite and a bogey team for us, aren't they, Shreyas?
Yeah, definitely are. And the problem is, we've been saying this for the past 3 to 4 games. Whoever is our opposition, that they might be a bogey team. They might be a team that can, be a tricky. They might be a tricky opponent. But the thing is, Brentford, I think, are coming off a 5-2 win into this game.
Yeah.
And we haven't won a game in our last 5 fixtures. So when you look at momentum, Brentford have got the best momentum pretty much possible going into this game, and this is perhaps one of their best opportunities to take 3 points off United with the kind of injuries we've got and the the backline that is playing today. I think they'll be looking at it and going, if we get the early goal and we can just sit behind and play on the counter, the United will just play into our hands. So this is the perfect setup, I would say, for Brentford to actually win this game. And the thing I just need to look for is how Ten Hag is going to be approaching this game. Is it going to be similar to Villa? Is it going to be him reverting back to his old system where everyone is just pushing forward, playing a high line, trying to win the ball in the opposition half and playing on transitions? We just need to see how he's going to come up with.
It always helps when you have someone who's flying like Mbeumo. Civir, 6 goals this season. Like I said before, more than all of United. They've got Norgard back in the side is important for him. The goalkeeper's been decent. Is that the one player you look at for Brentford and you're like, I'm really worried about him? Or is there anyone else in the lineup that you're a fan of?
This is a bit of a delayed reaction, right?
Okay, yeah.
But in 1989, in 1989, Mark Hughes was still fucking playing for us.
Sparky.
Brian McClare, this is the squad, right?
Okay.
Mark Bosnick, keeper.
That's why.
Gary Pallister, Viv Anderson. I mean, Shreyas, have you heard these names?
No,
Thank you. Like, this is how far back this record goes.
Yeah.
1980. Okay, sorry. And Burmo, if you have him on your fantasy team, like, you'd be rejoicing. Yeah. Have you got him? Yeah. You're eating good this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
In Burmo,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, because if we know anything about Thomas Frank, like, he knows how to deploy his bad boys, and I think it's not even going to be one of them ones where with teams like Brentford, you don't need that individual brilliance. You need players that have certain qualities, and you know how to deploy them perfectly. And this is what he does, and this is what's going to happen now. Obviously, as a United fan, like, I really hope. I mean, it's been a while. It feels like forever since we won a game, like Premier League game, convincingly. Like, the Fulham, we kind of stuck the leg in there. Southampton, we got away with it, and that sort of thing. Like, it's been a while, and of course, I'd always back my team, like, to win. But I don't see that happening, and I think Mbeumo's going to have a field day, especially with what's happening on the left-hand side. Thomas Frank is not going to deviate at all. He's going to. He will not deviate. This is the plan, and the plan it's even looking a lot better now with what we've got. I don't understand why we can't. I'd play Anthony there. I'll play legs there. I'll go with legs. I'll go get Sam Murray in from the under-21s, right? If he hasn't gone out on loan, I don't know what's up with him. But get him in, or just put some legs there. But you put Johnny Evans, you put Lisandro, that's not going to happen, man.
Why, as a team, because obviously we've had different profiles of players, Shreyas, when we've come up against Brentford. Why do you think we struggle against them?
If you see on paper, when it comes to the players we have, you would honestly think that, we've got far more superior players in every single department. But when it comes to, playing on the pitch, none of these players just work out. And Brentford are a very good unit. Whenever they're playing, all the 11 players are on the same page. They fight for every ball, and every single player knows where the other player is going to be. So they work very well as a unit. When you look at our team, it is completely disjointed. No one knows what is going on. Even when you see a good ball or good pass actually being played through, the attackers don't make the runs. There's just no, I would say, chemistry in this team at the moment. And it seems very disjointed. It doesn't look like the players are on the same page. So there was a time under Ten Hag, I think it was post-Christmas in his first season, that we were playing a game every 3 days. But you could still see this team actually performing very well on a consistent basis. And that used to actually happen because all these players were on the same page. We played against City. We played against a lot of tough teams. We played Barcelona in the Europa League as well. And you could say both of these teams have got much more quality than what we actually have to offer. But just because we as a unit were actually playing quite well, the 11 players were on the same page, we were able to get results against them while playing good football. So I think it just comes down to the fact that these players right now are very disjointed. They're not playing as in a synchronized manner.
Yeah, just chat to me about Thomas Frank, Civir, because it's a name it's not popular amongst United fans, let's say, for example. But should he be someone they at least consider when they look at the next long-term projects? Just while sort me lighting out.
Me personally, no, I wouldn't go for him. But just before I go on with this point, I think we need to start like a real Red Stock bingo, and have like on paper would be one of the bingo.
Yeah,
because we've had to say that quite a few times today, and a few shows as well. It's on paper, like
on paper, and I am not confident.
Yeah, exactly. We need to start that. But on Thomas Frank, like he's a really good manager. I personally wouldn't want him at United. I think I want someone a bit more
prestige.
I mean, not just prestige. I mean, he is doing very well with what he's got. It's kind of like before David Moyes left Everton and came to Man United, he was the Thomas Frank at the time, because Everton were organized. Like they were units. They were really hard to play against, and all that kind of stuff. And you thought, okay, yeah, maybe this could translate, at a higher stage. Unfortunately, it turned out that way. I'm not I know obviously because we're down and we're just looking for the next sort of savior, but I don't think his style of football is from what we've seen at Brentford, because that's almost more like a survival sort of style of play in terms of it's not ambitious enough, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's not ambitious enough. The standard at Man United, like we should be going for the cream of the crop, in my opinion. Yes, we've had a few shit seasons, but we're still a name. We're still who we are. At our worst, at our absolute worst, we're winning trophies. Still, we're still winning regardless. Yeah. So this is so we shouldn't settle for less. We should we can admire Thomas Frank and be happy for him and everything, but that doesn't mean we should be going for a manager like that. I would implore, obviously they don't want to real talk, but I would implore Ineos, however long it takes them to send out the scouts and identify the next up and coming manager in Europe now. Identify that person and go for him as your next one. Because I don't think Thomas Frank will take us to the heights where we want to be. He might make us, we might be challenging for the top 4 at best with Thomas Frank. I don't see us trying to go against Guardiola, trying to go against Arteta. God forbid I'm saying this, Arteta. But, I don't see us trying to challenge anything. We're trying to go back to the top of Europe, and we want to be back up there. So he's a really good manager, really, really good manager, but not for me.
Yeah. No, I think you make a good point. That's the question. That's the thing they need to decide, isn't it? Like, do they want to go for someone who will then initially get us back into the top 4 and then go for that prestige manager, like an in-between kind of guy? Because that's why Southgate was being discussed. He can bring back that kind of... I'm not saying he would, but the method behind it was he can bring that synergy between the players together, build them up to like a top 4 standard, and then someone comes in then and then takes it to the next level. I don't know if they're looking at something like that, or maybe they're looking at something like a McKenna. I'm not sure.
I mean, if I'm Southgate, after taking so much abuse for England, why would you want to
take a year off, innit?
Yeah, I'm gonna take some more abuse because if you think that was easy,
oh, you ain't seen nothing.
You ain't seen nothing.
Sam will be the one with the pitchfork and the flame as well outside his house.
It's one of the most scrutinized positions in the world. Man United manager right now. There's one of the most scrutinized positions. You have, and there's nowhere to hide, man. There's nowhere to hide. So if I was Southgate, man, listen, just enjoy that Sky Sports contract you've got, man.
I'd advise the same, because you look at the managers that have gone in. How can any manager? I know that like every manager's an ego, don't they, Shreyas, when you go in? But how can you look at it and go, well, he's tried it, and they're all different managers at all different levels that have won, multiple different things. How can you look at it as a manager and go, yeah, I could turn that around?
Yeah, I mean, Jose Mourinho is a serial winner, and he wasn't able to crack the code at United.
Yeah.
So whoever is going to be coming in have a very, very tough task ahead of them, because when you are a United manager, it's not only about getting results. It's also about during the course of the season what style of football you're actually playing. Then on top of that, you need that consistency. When you actually sign your players in, if one of them are overpriced and they don't work out within the first 2 months of of them actually coming into the team, once again you're going to be scrutinized for the signings, even though it doesn't really rely on the manager. If you're paying 50 million for a player or 100 million for a player, it ends up actually going after the manager itself. And I just think that there is a lot of pressure on this job right now, because it's pretty simple. Whoever actually comes in and gets it right, whoever is able to guide us to the Premier League trophy, that manager is going to go in the history books.
Yeah. And that's the almost like the reward is so big of being that guy. I mean, it's why Sir Jim Ratcliffe's partly done it as well, to have that legacy, to be that guy who's come in and done it. It's a similar thing with Ineos, but it's so difficult. Like, it's not... This is why I said with Ineos, like, I'm great that they've come in and I want them to do well, but it's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed that everything's going to work out. Everyone's putting all his faith into him. And I always feel like it's like, I get why you trust him, and they have made some sensible decisions, the people that they brought in and all that kind of stuff. But in reality... Have we gone forward at all yet? I know it's a process. I know it's going to take time, but nothing's changed really. Like, at least on
off the field, I think, off the field, everything is changing.
Yeah.
But just on the pitch. But then we know why it's happening. We know exactly why this is happening on the pitch. And if they bring their manager and we're still crap, then I'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
these guys, I don't, yeah. But right now, we just with the one denominator, the one thing that hasn't changed is the big elephant in the room. Yeah, and that's the one, and I think that's the one thing that needs to change. Apart from that, like look at everything else. Like the youth teams are playing really well. The women are doing well as well. Everything else is working out. Just the main team.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. With that being said, let's get into score predictions then, lads. Who wants to kick this one off?
Can I do mine on yours? Because I know where you're going to go.
Okay. Go on.
I'm going to go 1-1 because I know Nick is going to go 1-1 as well.
2-2, actually.
2-2.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. So still a draw, but
Still a draw, yeah.
I think there's a couple of goals either side. I think either Brentford I can definitely see on the counter attack or a set piece, 1,000,000% getting a goal. Yeah. And then also, I think I'm putting a bit too much faith in us, to be honest, to score 2. But I'd rather say 2-2, 2-1 Brentford, just so we've got a bit of positivity. Shreyas?
1-0 to Brentford. They score in the first moments of the game, just sit back in the boat for us. Yeah.
Yeah, we're done. We're done out here. Oh, right, lads. Well, let's see what today offers, shall we? We waited 2 weeks for this game. It's been a long international break. Could even be a longer week. Well, yeah, Jimmy may have not done, but I'm always like not excited. I don't know what the correct word is, but I always want to watch United. I always want us to do well, and I'm always invested. I shouldn't be because they always let us down. But I'm sure I'll vent my feelings on the review after the game. So make sure whoever's in the chat, you do come and watch us. Thank you everyone who's got all your comments in. Sorry I couldn't read a lot of them out, but we had a lot to discuss. Please leave a like on the video for us. We're on 7,216 subscribers, so if there is anyone new on the channel and you enjoy the content, then hit that subscribe button. I have usually for pros and cons tomorrow we do it. I'll just do it in this room, and I'm going to go Old Trafford, I think, and I'm going to do something called Old Trafford therapy, and then have a little walk around. So yeah, make sure you keep an eye out for that tomorrow. But apart from that, we'll be live for the review after the game. Thank you to Civir, thank you to Shreyas, and good luck, lads. Good luck. I'll speak to you in the chat. Yeah.